Hey Flosstube, this is Tara with Wilda Woman Crafts, and today we're back for Flosstube 30 something. I never count mine, but people seem to know that number at the beginning. Maybe 37-ish, not sure. Happy November 1st. It is no longer October, which feels like kind of a shock. I feel like in a lot of ways October kind of dragged out for me this month. But then kind of all came screaming to an end very fast. But we have lots of Stitchy updates today. I will share with you a little bit about my experience at Stitch North last week, which was a blast. And yeah, we'll just get right into it. And we have a big finish today, so I'm very excited about that. Yep, so let's get right into it. No fully finished objects today. I'm slacking, but it's all good. I think this is kind of how it starts to go to the end of the year, is that it's just like things come up and it's all good. We just keep moving. So my first finish I have for you is the next installment on my Stitch for Pride. We're gonna try putting me on this side and the stitching on this side. I'm gonna flip it up a little bit, see how we like that. Yeah, so here's my Stitch for Pride so far. This is a 12-month stitch along that started in January, hosted by D's 20 Stitches. And this right here is the October installment. So this is Gorey. I kind of shared some of my thoughts about the learning last Flosstube, but he is a American, often thought to be British, apparently, illustrator, and I really loved listening to all the learning. It was just very interesting, the volume of like stuff there is for him when I just had not come across him before. And I picked this beautiful thread. I don't know if I shared what this was last time, so I will share it now. This is Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Lilac, and I think it came out spectacular. And I did misspeak. I think I said in my last video that there like wasn't a purple coming. I was wrong. November is purple. So, and November section, which was just released today, I'll put it up, is like the called for is a purple. So I'll have to do something different, but still so far really happy with the way my colors are working out. I can't believe there's only two parts left, and now we've seen one, so only one like mystery section left. So I can't believe it. It's been so good. It's been so fun. I have learned so much, and this is being stitched on 32 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit. And I should have a nice little section left over, which is nice because, like I said, I really enjoy this fabric. So that went really well. That one was very fun to stitch. I did have a goof in it. October has been a little haunted for me in the frogging department. I feel like I've been making mistakes, but it's all good. Okay, and then next up, oh shoot, let me grab a board. I have shared this on Instagram, but I finished Dinosaur Forest. Oh my gosh. This one did go down exactly how I had hoped. I was able to finish this at Stitch North, and maybe you'll see a photo of me very excitedly doing it. I was not the first finish of the retreat, but I was the second. So I think Caroline of Evertote hadn't like, they hadn't just set the bell down, so I had to go ask her for it. So she was so sweet and like held it up with me, and then she's trying to like hide behind it. I would have been happy with her to just stand in the picture. I don't want it construed that I was telling her to hide. But anyway, it's completely done. And it was so funny. This last plant I did here, you can see that this is a very variegated thread, but what was hilarious was I basically had to pick apart what was left of my skein, because however I had managed to cut that, this transition from green to yellow was like not in any of the threads. So I kind of had to like build the gradient myself. So like I picked one that was like dark green to medium green, and then I had to pick like a medium green to a less medium green, and then like do a yellow. Anyway, it was very funny. Everyone was I'm sure amused by me just like ripping this skate apart. But yeah, so this was the last plant I did. I saved it because it was one color. And that's it. That is it. And I don't know that I ever specifically said, but I bought this as a kit. So I have the paper chart. And then I separately ended up purchasing the PDF when they started releasing those. Sorry, I'm used to having it on my left. But looking back at the paper chart, I didn't realize that there is a little bit of backstitch. So a couple of the dinos, I kind of added these in without commenting on it, but a couple of them have mouths. It's mostly the big ones. So like the Ankylosaurus, the Apatosaurus here, the Stegosaurus, and the Triceratops have little lines for mouths. So just a tip if you are working off the digital pattern, because it's not marked on there. But yeah, this one's history. My next oldest whip off the list. And this is the last of my 2021 whips. So we're closed out of 2021. Unfortunately, my next oldest whip is a Heaven and Earth Designs. So I don't think that one we're going to crank out too soon, but I do have big plans in 2025 to really put a lot of work into it. So yep, we'll just keep admiring it. It looks so good. I love it. Thank you all for the love on it. I've gotten so many just like encouraging comments. I feel like people have really enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed watching this one come together, because it has been a joy to stitch this year. And like, it definitely feels like a community finish at this point. So congrats to all of us. So next up, I think I had started this on my last video, or maybe I hadn't. I really don't remember. I think I had looked. Hold on. No, I had not. So this is a start and finish from the last time we chatted. This is the October Celebrate All Year chart from Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society. And here it is. So October was National Dessert Month. And this is so darling. The color palette is really fun in this one. I will say, Laura, Katie, if you're watching this, the confetti in this one was out of control. There was like there was maybe 13 colors that had under 50 stitches. Which, you know, at the retreat, I was just like, come on. But it came out great. I really like it. I'm very happy with the finished look, but definitely had some frustration. Also, I did the majority of the stitching on this at Stitch North. And I was missing my 890, which is like a deep green that is only used in 10 stitches on this chart. Which it was kind of funny because initially I was like, oh, it's just 10 stitches. Like, I'll just pick a random green. It doesn't matter. But then there was that other part of me that was like, it's only 10 stitches and I'm in a room of 200 stitchers. Like, somebody has to have 890, right? Like, and especially because this whole series has all used the same color palette. We don't use the full color palette every time, but like, it's consistently been just those colors. So then there was a part of me that was like, I don't want it to be the odd one out. Not that they're going to be displayed together. But I got in my head about it. Okay, I was like, I'm in a room with 200 stitchers. Somebody has to have 890 in here. And then what was even funnier is I was looking in my Notion app, which tells you, you know, what projects those colors are in. And it actually is used in the Deadly Aquarium. So I was like, someone's got to have a Deadly Aquarium around here, right? And actually Chandria, who was sitting at my table, did have her Deadly Aquarium. And that was the only color she was out of. Anyway, Erin of the Hathaway Stitchers, let's get into a little Stitch North story here, started cruising the room, found somebody working on, someone also had brought their entire DMC set, didn't have 890. I don't know, man. So Erin starts cruising the room, finds somebody working on like 2 massive full coverages, and she came through, had an 890. So she shared some with me. I was able to finish it. And then I went over and showed it to her. And then what was also wild is then later someone came to our table looking for a specific color. And I don't remember, I think it was like 704 or something. She was like, does anyone have 704? And I was the only one who had it. So I like karmically repaid my floss debt. But shout out to the stitcher who brought 890 to the Stitch North. You really saved me. So this is the last fabric color that we'll be using in this set for the last two. And this one is not the called for. This is one that I picked out. And this is Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim. Which I am enjoying stitching on much more than the Witcholt. I'm very happy with my decision to abandon September's chart until next year, and then we'll just regroup and come back and be stronger. Because right now I cannot handle it. So that was the start and finish. And then I have two little starts and finishes from the retreat. Sorry about you. That I will show. So in our swag bags for Stitch North, we got this adorable little wooden ornament. And I finished it. So it also came with a custom velvet adhesive backing that already had the hole punched out. So that was so convenient. Such an easy little project. I didn't actually stitch this in the room at Stitch North. My travel plans we'll get into. I ended up flying into Detroit to save a little on an international flight and driving up with Hillary of Subpar Stitches. We had a blast. So on our return trip on Sunday, I stayed the night with her. And so we stayed up Sunday night working on this. So I started this that night and then actually finished it the next day when I ended up flying home. So I felt like, I feel good that this was completed within the time that I was like traveling for Stitch North while it was not completed in the stitching room. But yeah, all Roxy Floss Co. They gave us all the threads, this as well as the backing, like I said. So very cute. I will have to put some string on it and it will go on the tree very soon here. So that was my first little Stitch North small that I have to share with you. And my second one is actually a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, for like table gifts, which I'll get into. But I'll just share Hillary's. So Hillary of Subpar Stitches got it in her mind to do a little custom Halloween kit for everyone. So freaking cute. So it's a little slide box. She made this with her Cricut. She made custom patterns for everyone, little tiny like 30 by 30s, you'll see because I stitched it. And then she also gave us like a full finishing kit. So she gave us these little keychains as well as backing fabric, threads, and yeah, like I said, the little backing fabric and the fabric and a needle. So everything you needed in a little go case. So I stitched mine up and I added a little back stitch on the bottom since I could test against the keychain to make sure it would fit. But I got this adorable little cat and I just put, you know, S in 24. So for Stitch North 2024 to like commemorate that for that trip for me. And next up it'll get shoved in here somehow, some way. But very adorable. I think she had, I don't remember the other ones that she had, but you'll have to, I'll tag all my table mates when we get there. So you'll have to go watch, and several of them you probably already do watch, watch their accounts if you want to see the other designs that Hillary made, or she might share them on her channel. We'll see, but so cute. So like the table gifts were out of control. I think this is a problem, I think, when you kind of plan ahead and you know the people. the stakes for table gifts are just going up and up and up, but it was very fun. Okay, so that was my 5 finishes to share with you. And I guess quickly I'll share with you my October stitchy stats. So October actually ended up being a low stitchy month for me. And so part of that, my last video, I titled it Disaster Mitigation, right? And I filmed that on the 18th, I think, which was either Thursday or Friday. That Sunday, my partner found himself experiencing some medical stuff again that had him in the hospital again. He's okay, and that whole week is just like a blur, and I almost didn't make it to Stitch North, but we'll keep it service level for that, but he's okay. So yeah, basically we did not avoid disaster. I am very thankful that I was able to get my 2 stitch alongs done for the month, but we are just thankful that he's doing okay, and the rest of it doesn't matter. But yeah, disaster was not avoided in the stitching department, but it's all good. So my stitch count for the month was 11,685 stitches, which is my second lowest stitch count for the year, which is fine. And I still had 7 starts and 5 finishes. Again, this year, I'm so curious to see what my stitching will look like next year, because with the sort of like overinflation of starts and finishes with these like monthly drops, like the fact that I have 2 stitch alongs that are, yes, technically stitch alongs for a year, but each month is like distinct. It's not creating one image. I mean, the Stitch for Pride one is like, you know, it's creating a spot sampler, but whatever. I'm very curious to see what my numbers look like next year, because I think they're vastly overinflated this year. And then obviously, you know, having the 2 little smalls were very quick as well. But anyway, so that was October for that, but we have more to do. That's just the finishes. So I have 2 starts to show you that are not finishes since we last chatted. So the first one is I might have shown this before, I don't remember, but this is a pattern from a Ko-Fi shop called Faeriiess, but there's a lot of extra letters in there, so I will have that linked below and hopefully on the screen. They have a Ko-Fi shop with patterns related to the Magnus Archives podcast. And I have slowly been forcing people to listen to it. So I got Michaela Cinematic Stitches on it. I think I've gotten Cam and Marjorie hooked, of Cam's the Stitcher and Marjorie Made. And then I think Chandria of Chandria Carroll started listening as well. So it's a tricky one because I don't want to like describe what this is in case anyone wants to listen to it. But you can just look at the picture. It's fine. It's related to the podcast. That's all I'm going to say. So here's my start on that. My meager start. I am stitching this on black, so I'm not going to stitch the black background on this. And yeah, this was like a late Saturday night start at Stitch North. And then because it was late, I didn't really want to work on it that much because it was black Ada, which was fine like over the white tablecloth, but then when we went to the lobby, I was not seeing it. So anyway, would love to get back to this little start, but this is not a big chart. Like this is the whole width, like I said, and this is probably like a third of the way down. This needle minder, again, is something from Stitch North as well. So Chandria gave Michaela and I these pins turned needle minders that are from the video game Dredge. So I think it said this is like a volcanic grouper. It glows in the dark. I am obsessed with it. I love it so much. So thank you, Chandria. But yeah, so this one's a start officially, which I had hoped to start in October. So that was exciting. And then my last start is our table start. So, you know, it seems like you can't get out of a retreat without a little, group new start. And this one, again, things also where I was just hanging on. I was just really hanging on at the end of the month there, but it's all good here. But I was the last to start this chart. So we decided as a table to stitch on Pansy Patch Quilt Co. and Stitchery. I forget the whole title, but Pansy Patch was one of the vendors at Stitch North, and she has a series that's not done yet, but she has kind of 9 houses for every season. So there's like the Houses of Wisteria Lane, which are like the spring set, and then there's like a kind of Christmas set, like a wintry set, and then there's an autumn set. And it's really hard to pick because a lot of them are super cute. So we decided like, we'll just everyone do a house, pick a house. And then some of the folks at my table, the Hathaway Stitchers and Michaela of Cinematic Stitches, they all spent like an hour doing a Roxy Floss Co conversion for this. So I'm sure any of them would be happy to share it with you if you're curious. I didn't want to buy the whole thing because there's like 14 colors on this or something. So I picked a few threads, which I guess a little bit of spoiler. So I kind of like picked the 3 colors that are most prominent in the house that I picked, which is Candy Apple House, which is from the like autumn series. So I picked the colors that are like in the house, and those are the Roxy Floss Co flosses I bought. And then I had a tiny start to say that I started another one of these like retreat starts. It's like super small, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So, and then another spoiler for table gifts, Amity and Aaron gave us long Furby needle winders. If you don't know what a long Furby is, I'm so sorry to break it to you, but they're out there. People make them. So yeah, so this, the colors I chose, 2 of them are from their conversion. So Gold Star and Common Currency. And then I didn't love the way that the red ended up looking, for a Candy Apple House. Like it's a much more muted color. So I chose Falu Red as my red in my chart. But the only thing you can see here is the brown stitched up, but it will be that. And this fabric I also purchased at Stitch North. It is a oh, where did your tag go? It's a Roxy Floss Co fabric. Oh goodness, I'll have to go figure out what exactly this was, but this was like an offcut. They had a remnant spin, and so I purchased this from that. I just needed a neutral that I didn't have to start this, so very happy with that. And you know, I'm never mad about a neutral. So that was my other start. And lastly, I have 3 works in progress to share with you, and then some, and then we'll probably do Stitch North recap. Whips. So we have whips that I have worked on since the last time we chatted, and there's not crazy progress on these. Again, just was hanging in by the end, but it was still a fun month, and I touched, I think, every single one of my Halloween projects in October, except for one, maybe. But yeah, next up was Monster House. Again, did not get a ton done on this, but I was able to add in some of the skeleton's face, and I filled in the green at the top of this roof here and like the white behind the 13, I believe. So that was really fun stitching one night. This is stitched on 32 count Flamingo by Laura's Fabrics. And I've just been ogling all the finishes of these. And Jen's fiber web is so far. She got so far on this, but I think it's gonna look great. The white is a little pale on the camera, but I think once he has the rest of him, it'll stand out just fine. I think the white on its own is not popping, but I think it'll be okay. So I worked on that one. And then next up, again, another one, I was like, I'm gonna get a ton of stitching done on this at Stitch North, but I put like 700 stitches in that October Celebrate All Year chart. So that did not go the way I had hoped, but I did get out while I was there Owl Forest Embroidery's Autumn Night Alphabet. And this was another one, like I kind of had to put it away because I kept messing up, but here it is. So basically I added this tree, and when I tell you I had to rip out like multiple times to get that tree, and I don't know what was going on. So I was just like, okay, we're done. Once I finally correctly got to the top of that tree, I was like, goodbye. Goodbye, get out of here. But I want to keep stitching it. I do. Oh gosh. Oh, it's just, okay, we're getting November plans, but this is where this one was chilling right now. So I got this tree in. love the colors. And I'll quickly say, so I did Stitchy Natty. I've heard people say Natty and then Natty. In person, I heard people say Natty, so I apologize. But she was in attendance, and I bumped into her, talking to her at Kaylee of the Sewing Shop's table, and Natty invited me and members of my table to stitch on her community project. And so we took advantage of that opportunity. Natty is doing 324 by Works by ABC. And so I tried to pick a fun color. I had only DMC with me except for this project. So I used this Alforest thread right here that I thought was cool. That was the one that I put into 324, which I am even more impressed by people who are stitching that project now, because it is a bit of a bear to follow that chart. Like, it feels like a choose your own adventure book. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of like, okay, you got to start at the back and get your oriented to find the page, and then you got to like, and you got to cross reference for the thread. Like, it's kind of a, like, they're small motifs, but it seems like a big pain to figure out what color you're supposed to be on if you're truly doing like the 324 gradient. My goodness. Anyway, I was impressed. But yeah, so here's where this is. This is stitched on 36 count cobblestone by Fiber on a Whim. Yes. 36 count cobblestone on a fat half, which should be roomy. It should be roomy on the fat half, but it still needed it on 36. Last but not least, my Halloween day project. Post Stitch North, I feel like from stitching on that wooden ornament and not having like my stand set up and kind of like being on the plane and cram stitching on that, I started having elbow pain. So I didn't really stitch much this week, but I had to get something out on Halloween. So I ended up stitching on Silver Creek Samplers Izzie Dekayen, which was a start with some of my friends from BNS. And I had a good little run of it last night. This is a fun little chart. So here's where I am now. I fully finished the skeleton out and put his little bottle of vino in, and then started on the S here. This is stitched on 32 count Fiber on a Whim Cafe au lait. So much Fiber on a Whim recently. Yep, Cafe au lait, which I am loving. And yeah, I think I'm like 22% done with this, so not too shabby. Feeling good about it. But yeah, this was a very fun one. Very easy, nice way to spend my Halloween afternoon stitching. Amazing. So that is all of the stitching I have to show you since the last time we chatted. Next up, I'm going to just briefly touch on a little bit more Stitch North and go over my table gifts, because as I alluded to, people went above and beyond. So yeah, just to get into it, Stitch North, amazing, loved it. It was so fun. It was definitely it is definitely a larger retreat still. I think the maximum attendees is about 225. We had a few open seats, so I'm guessing maybe there was like 200, 210 folks in attendance. And that was, yeah, that was a great size. And I think like the demographic there, I think like having had, this is now my third in-person retreat. They've all happened this year. So I've had the experience of StitchCon Weekend A, which the vibe there is like electric. Like, I think people are just so amped. So it was just kind of interesting because I feel like I think I described it as I felt like I was vibrating the whole time. Like, I just, like, almost a delirium of excitement, which is not necessarily what you want every time. For my first retreat, it was just like perfect. But and then having gone to the Black Needle Society's camp, as they call it, that one was about 100 attendees. And I think since a lot of folks in that group, we, you know, chat virtually and kind of like know each other, I think that one was more of like a heartwarming, like friends coming back together or like meeting for the first time. Like a lot of people knew each other. So that one, like generally the vibe was more relaxed, but then they had more games, which was kind of interesting. And then this one I think kind of falls somewhere in between where, you know, there's a lot of excitement. But also I think just like the attendees in particular, or at least at this one and the fall one, maybe the spring one is more amped, but the fall one, like people were pretty relaxed. I feel like our table was obnoxious by comparison. But we were just having a great time. So my table consisted of Erin and Amity of the Hathaway Stitchers, Hillary of Subpar Stitches, Chandria of Chandria Carroll, Michaela of Cinematic Stitches, and everybody will be down below. And then we had Megan, who I know through the Black Needle Society actually, and she received my Smalls Exchange piece at camp this year. And so she bumped into us Thursday night, and we, you know, the tables there seat like 7 comfortably and up to 8. And so we only had 6 people we knew that we were planning to sit with. So Megan joined us and she was a fantastic addition to the group. We were so happy to have her. And then we, for a brief period, had another attendee named Liz, who is not really active on Instagram and does not have a Flosstube, but she unfortunately had to attend an event. So she was only there like Friday morning, but we hung out with her Thursday night as well. So she was very chill, great to meet new people. That's part of why you go. So all that to say, so I'm gonna run down people's table gifts because they were all so good and I feel like I'm gonna have to try harder next time. So, and I guess I will say quickly, so my table gifts, I crocheted for everyone a coffee cozy. So I usually kind of hold it like this, and while we did test, it does insulate against hot coffee. I honestly feel like the big benefit of these, which I totally got this pattern, that recommends this tube yarn from Bridge and the Museum Stitcher. She was into making these for a while and I totally got on board as well. So they're really good because this is a tube yarn. As you can see, it's not stranded. So there's like cotton roving inside, which you can kind of see from like the tail ends. It absorbs moisture extremely well. So honestly, I feel like the #1 use that I recommend for these is if you're an iced coffee drinker in the winter. It is really nice. It's really nice for that. But it also insulates hot drinks quite well as well. So I had 3 colors because when I decided I was going to get into this, I was like, I'm sure I'll make them for everybody. And then these balls of yarn have just been sitting there. So the folks who I knew were going, I asked them what colors they wanted. And so yeah, this was my gift, as well as, I don't think I have them here, but these little like kind of fidget toys that run up and down your finger and sort of feel nice. So that was my gift. Megan made these really cool trinket trays. I really like how high-sided this is. And this is just like such a nice thing, especially at a retreat to have, I find, because things just sprawl so fast. And so it's just really nice to have like a home base to dump stuff into. So I like that these have nice high sides and it folds flat really well. So this was a great little gift. We got to pick our, from the patterns she had. And she also gave out some floss drops, which were really fun because they are pictures from her backyard. She lives in Alaska. So she had this like really pretty like snow scene here. And then amazingly, she had a picture of moose in her backyard, which we all were like, why did you Photoshop this Darth Vader on there? And she was like, no, it's through my back window. And there's like a window clean. So that Darth Vader's really in the picture. That cracked me up. So yeah, her Instagram will be below. So thank you, Megan. Loved that. Next, Michaela of Cinematic Stitches sewed these adorable little pouches, lots of fun fabrics to pick from. So I picked this little very autumnal owl scene, and there's some cute bug fabric on the inside, which Michaela was like, I thought the owls could eat the bugs. So it's so cute. And she filled these, you'll see this is empty. It was filled with like little Canadian chocolates, little treats. So those were very fun to have on hand at the table. We got so many Canadian snacks. So that was great. Next up, Chandria went all out. So she did 2 needle books for each of us. So we have kind of a more like Canadian themed one with these nice snaps, and she got a little logo made. And then this very cute Halloween fabric, which I actually bought this off Michael's as well. So I'm hoping to make a bag for myself out of that. And she gave us all a pack of 28 needles, except for Erin, who got 26s. And then, so cute, she actually bought all of us some little Halloween studs. I picked the candy corns. We had a couple of different ones to pick from. And she's so thoughtful, because I have complained to her before that as I have gotten older, my ears have gotten very sensitive, and it's not so much that I like only can wear gold or silver. It just seems really hit or miss. I don't 100% know what my issue is. But I know like everything else that's in my ears currently is either like titanium or palladium, and I don't seem to have a problem with those. And one of her favorite little, like, I guess this is resin or acrylic earring makers uses titanium posts. So now that's a problem, because now she's opened up like cute earrings for me again, whereas that was like not a line item in my life anymore. I didn't really buy earrings. But yeah, so very adorable. Thank you, Chandria. And she spoiled me. She also got me some like dangly moths that are from the same maker as well, as like a belated birthday gift. So thank you, Chandria. I love them so much. And then, okay, make sure I'm remembering what everyone did. And then Hillary did the custom kit, as we saw. And then Amity and Erin, y'all, oh my goodness, they are so generous and thoughtful. So they were like, we did Advent style. So they had like a gift for every day. So I'm gonna get this stuff out of here so you can see it in its glory. So day 1, everyone got a project folder. So this is mine, and they had kind of like, I think, reached out to each of us separately to be like, you know, what are the types of things you like? And so I do have a message from Erin at one point where she was like, are you anti-snake? And I was like, actually, I would describe myself as pro-snake. So this gorgeous fabric she picked out. And then my inside fabric is Animal Crossing, which I love so much. It's so freaking cute. I love this. And again, I recommend, for the folks who have Flosstube, I recommend going to check their channels out. Hopefully they will do recaps and they will show their project folders, because they were all so good. Mine's probably one of the more tame, I'll put it that way. The fabrics were very unique. So mine is probably one of the more tame, I will say. So be on the lookout. So that was day 1. And then day 2, they had us unwrap in this cute little bird tissue paper. We got a Mill Hill kit, which is Canada Goose, with this needle minder. Oh my gosh, this is our, you know, homage to Canada, I guess. I guess I can get this out of here. They're too freaking funny. I died. I love this goose kit. I so badly want to get this one going. And then, yeah. Which, this is a fancy Mill Hill. I was showing them. There's like a treasure in it. I think it dangles off the back of the goose's like hat. So cute. So they got that. And then the long Furby needle minder was the last part. So they went completely overboard. And then quickly I'll show the swag as well from the event. It was really good swag. I was like very impressed with the amount of stuff that we got. So yeah, let's just run through it real quick. So, and I guess like I got some other like needle minders or floss drops and stuff from folks. So So we got a needle minder from the sewing shop with like all different leaves. Very cool. We got a 25-yard skein of Raven from Hand by Dye Roland. I don't even know what I just said. Hand dyed by Rolanda, who was another vendor there, and the sewing shop was a vendor. So like all the vendors kind of gave something, which was really nice. Samply Stitched project bags gave us this little key charm, and then this is a really nice like cardstock, and you can cut this out and have a little corner gauge. How nice is that? An attendee, this was a surprise edition apparently, an attendee handmade thread beds for everybody and like just showed up to the event, and I was like, oh, I have one for this swag bag. So this was not planned, but we did get this adorable thread bed, very on theme. And then let's see, 1897 Schoolhouse Samplers was there, so we got this chart, which is Let Not the Morrow Your Vain Thoughts Employ, Rebecca Randall, February 23rd, 1831. Very cool. This adorable Tiny Modernist was there as well. Small fall stitching. I feel that I will stitch this one. This gorgeous leaf from Anne's Crafts. There are like 21 DMC colors in this, so that does turn me off a little bit, but it does look good. And then I love this from Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. Okay, I do have that correct, I think. We got their Tea Garden Pin Pillow pattern, which is using the Tea Time silk pack that came out a couple years ago, which I own that silk pack, so this is darling. Love that. So I think from the best of my holding on to things, that is what was in the swag bag, which is, like I said, incredible. So that was lovely. And then, yeah, quickly I'll show my purchases. So you saw for the Pansy Patch start, I purchased fabric and 3 Roxy Flossco flosses. I tried to be good. I did also buy from Roxy Flossco. They had a bin of clearance threads, so it was like 5 for $10 US. So I just kind of went through there. So some of these still have like the old label, but I really liked these. I've never had any Leo and Roxy, so I just was like, you know, seems like a good way to get a couple of colors. I was considering this one for a project, which then Amity and I later kitted up. So she and I have talked about starting Lindy Stitch's Purple Transport. I've been obsessed with this chart ever since it came out, but it's all the specialties are in weeks, which are not my vibes. So I just have never really gone for it, and I don't have the fabric anyway, but we're taking the first step. So Amity and I later went back because I kind of thought that maybe this would be a good purple for the horse, which I'm still like sort of debating. But then we went back through the current line of Roxy Floss and kitted up the 3 specialty threads. So these are what we came up with, which looks so good. So this would be like the horse color. This would be the mane and tail and like the little spots. And then this is one of the greens on the grass, and the rest of it is DMC. So it's only 3 specialty colors. And I am kind of obsessed with this, especially seeing this in the camera. Like, whew, this is grape soda. It is so punchy. I just kind of love it. So we got to figure out what fabric we're using because it is called for. I didn't know this at the time, but now that we know that Aqua Riviera from Witchell is awful to stitch on, the called for is, or it's like Riviera Aqua. The called for is Riviera Olive by Witchell, which I'm assuming is going to be equally as horrible. So we cannot stitch on the called for. So Amity and I are on the hunt. If you have an idea, please leave it below. They also had some little trims. So I got these 2 very like autumnal Leo and Roxy pom-poms, which some people, it was really cute. I saw some people put like pom-poms around the edge of their ornament. But they had like a brighter red that I think would have looked better with this. When I got home, I kind of laid this against it, was like, maybe, but it's a little dark. So I didn't do that. And then everything else I got was from the sewing shop. So as I said, Kaylee of the sewing shop was there. I have ogled her bags for a long time, but just for whatever reason, never bought one. So I finally have one. I think what is really special about her bags is that she has this extra like panel of fabric on the side. And so they're very Q-snap friendly. And while I have mostly converted to Nurges, I do still use my Q-snaps. And I think this is a great fit for like I think this fits an 11 by 11, but I use 8 by 8s a lot. So this will be plenty roomy. And I only have an 11 by 11 as my maximum, so that's the biggest I can go. And it has this cute little spider charm. So I bought this bag, which also has this fun, like, kind of textured, like, upholstery fabric on it. So it's very fun to pet. And then she had some just, like, very reasonably priced fabric. So what can I say? I got sucked in. So I purchased from her this 16 count Aida in the color, I don't think this one has a color. I think she does kind of mostly a lot of like single dyes, but very Halloween, very fun. I just liked it a lot. So grabbed that. And then I also grabbed, I was trying to resist this, but I've just never seen anything dyed like this, but it is a 40 count. So this one has a name. This is At the Lake, and it is a 40 count linen. And I don't know, it's so cool. I just like, I don't know, it's like minty. On this side, I think you can maybe see like there's little pinks and browns. I don't know, I had walked away from it once and then I went back and I was like, nope. You're coming with me. So got that. And then the last thing I bought from her is she had a couple of little ornament cuts of fabric. So I got an Aida pack because there was not many. There's like one left. So just like quickly, they're just kind of little random, you know, perfect for magazine little stitches. Or, you know, they're releasing that like Spellbound bookmark thing today from the Stitchers Collective. Hopefully maybe I put up a picture so you have more words than what I just said. Maybe some of these bookmarks would fit on there and be really cute. That one's gridded. And then let's see. So yeah, a nice little bundle here. Very fun. So that was my purchasing. And I didn't really hit the freebie table much, but I did snag Hillary brought Assembly Required by Ink Circles, a classic. So I had to snag that before I hit the freebie table. Alrighty, looking around, just realized I have not shown off my scarf progress. I'll show that quickly, which this was another one. I was like, oh, I'll just bring it to Stitch North and like get my 4 rows done a day. I'm pretty fast at it. And I can like watch videos and do this now. I'm getting better. I messed up so bad. So then I just bailed and like didn't work on it and then had to catch up this week. So I am caught up. This is the Starfighter scarf from Star Wars Knitting the Galaxy. So we are over 50%, which is exciting. So I believe it is like right here. This little white line is halfway. So now we are repeating everything. So like if we go to this end, we've done this ship before. So I just have to do this all over again and then it'll be done and it's going great. So that is my little double knitted scarf that I'm cranking through and we're almost another big relief. So the pattern called for 2 of the white color and 2 of the black color, which I did, but you know, it's been a while since I bought it and you know, dye lots can change and stuff. So it is a big relief that I am now officially over halfway and I have not run out of my first skein of either of those colors yet. I'm getting close on the black, but I think it should be plenty roomy to finish the rest of the scarf, which is a big relief. Lastly, yeah, so that was kind of like haul and stuff. So I think all that's left at this point is just my plans, which are of course to hopefully stay on top of Stitch for Pride and celebrate all year. I did not do either of my October Whip Go calls, but that's okay. So I hope to do them, which again were to fully finish Witch's Pantry, one of those charts, and then to start a Polar Plunge chart, which feels, you know, more appropriate this time of year. My November Whip Go calls, luckily one of them is done. So one of them was to finish one of my Swedish neat bells, which I've done, and then fully finish my Merry Meow Miss Biscornu, which again is like more seasonally appropriate now. So excited about that. So that'll be great. And then, you know, I'll have like 2 fully, whatever, it'll get done. I've officially bailed on Great British Baking Show. There's no hope. We'll try again next year. Check out Jessie Marie Does Stuff if that sounds fun to you. And lastly, so my November plans. You've heard of, you know, Movember, you know, No Nut November, all sort, you know, what is it? No Shave November. I have deemed November for me no fun November. Just kidding. Not no fun, but refocusing to get us through the end of the year. So I have a chart. I think probably at the beginning of the year, this was in my plans, and here we are, November 1st. My grandfather requested that I do kind of like an Irish drinking song, whatever, one of those kind of weird little phrases. Naturally, he picked the longest one that is probably online. I have charted it up. I charted it up a long time ago. I have just put off doing it. And so I'll put a picture of it up here. This is just like the mock-up out of Stitch Fiddle. I use one of Lord Libidin's free fonts. So you can access this font yourself if that's of interest, and just put it together. I've had it kitted. I have like a fabric pulled and like 4 threads. It's not that bad. It's just a little bigger than I want it to be. And I have so many other things I want to work on, but it's my grandfather. So I will do this for him. And if I make this my 200 stitches a day project starting today, it will be done before the end of the month. So that is the mindset we are in. So that would be fantastic to get done and to get as a Christmas present for him this year. So we're going to work on that. And I forget what other parameters we have for No Fun November other than like getting my ish together. I said October got a little bit away from me and I still did a lot of new starts. So I think I'm going to enjoy this month to like kind of get really into the fun of planning. I think a lot of people, Flosstubers, have already alluded to thinking about their 2025 plans. So I think this is going to be like the fun in November is going to be planning how it is that I'm going to get all these charts done, because I have just started so many things I was so excited for, but then there's so many things that I was excited for that I really wanted to start this year that I haven't. And so I want to. So I want to but I want to make room for them. I don't want to just add them onto the whip pile, which of course, you know, you've all heard this disclaimer, but like what is comfortable for one person in no way defines what I think you should be doing, because it's fun to watch people with, you know, 50 plus, 100 plus projects. To me, I like watching it, but I presently cannot sustain that lifestyle. It stresses me out. So, I have 21 works in progress. That will be 22 as of today, because I'll be starting my grandpa's chart. And that's really not that crazy of a number, but I think this year more so than past years, some of these charts are a little bit bigger than a lot of things I've started. I've tended to kind of hang out in that like small to medium size, and this year I'm kind of dipping in my medium to large size. So I think it's like finding that balance of, I have these large projects that I want to keep getting progress on, but I like a medium chart. And so I don't want to just keep churning out medium charts and never really getting any tangible progress on my large charts. So that's what I'm thinking of. I've mentioned before as well that I'm hoping to kind of stitch from stash next year. Karen of I'm Stitching Past My Bedtime has sent me some parameters she's thinking about for next year, which have been percolating. I think there's some good ideas in there, because I will be getting, like, I have some boxes that are already coming next year. You know, February is coming. I would like the Downton Abbey box from Black Needle next year, like their fiction, you know, the kind of their special edition boxes. So boxes will be coming. So I kind of already know that I'm going to get some stuff. And so I think it's a hard parameter to put on myself, but maybe, yeah, maybe I'm cut off from buying outside the boxes. We will see. We will see. I'm still ruminating on it, but those are some of the thoughts I'm having. And yeah, no fun November. I think no fun November is translating to no new starts, parentheses, minus this one, and also the celebrate chart. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the problem this year, is that I'm like, no new starts, except I already know 3 that have to happen. Yeah, so I think just setting myself up for excitement for December. I guess I didn't mention, so I will have 2 Advents I'm unboxing during Christmas, or during the December month this year. I am hoping to do daily videos again. I've gotten really sweet feedback about that. I've heard that I am quiet enough to tolerate in the morning, largely because I am filming at an ungodly hour for me, because while I can wait to open the presents daily, as soon as I'm awake, I want to see it. So if you have not caught that series of videos from me before, I'm up at like 7 in the morning. But they're very short little clips. And so I want to get your feedback as well. So I will be opening the Nice List box from the Black Needle Society. I also will be opening, and I ordered, I guess this is kind of haul, I ordered a 24-day package, like Advent, from Crafty Gurumi on Instagram. They have an Instagram shop, or an Etsy shop, and I've purchased from them before. They have a lot of very like video game focused stuff, some kind of nerdy stuff. Like I bought that big Breath of the Wild tapestry from them, and some of the little minis, like just lots of cute little stuff. If they're your vibe, it's very cute. And they, yeah, they released a Advent box, which I think as of today, there are still some left. There's a 24-day option and a 12-day option. The 24-day option is $120. So more on the reasonable end. And it says that you will be getting 5 kitted projects. This is their first time doing an Advent. So it's, you know, a little bit of a leap of faith. I don't 100% know what will be in there. But when I purchased, she sent a Google form with a big questionnaire that asked a lot of a bunch of questions about preferences. So I think that this box will be customized to an extent, is the vibe I'm getting. Like, you know, they kind of ask, like, do you like Christmas or do you just want winter? You know, favorite colors, how much back stitching are you comfortable with? What topics do you like to stitch? You know, what like subjects do you like to stitch? And there's like check boxes and things. I'm trying to think of what else was on there. It's been a while, but it was kind of an extensive like survey. And I think it'll be really cool. So I'll be opening that one as well. And then lastly, so I have personally received a like little wine Advent the last 2 years. I haven't shown it because, you know, it's a craft channel. I don't know if people want to discuss alcohol. That's fine. If that's not your jam, but it is something I technically receive. I don't know if it is of interest to anyone to see it, but I'm not that I will be tasting at 7 in the morning, but I can give my night before review or have clips. I'm not sure. So I guess let me know if you also want to see what's going on with that. The Advent is from In Good Taste. I don't think they're probably like very spectacular wines. One of my friends' moms always roasts me that she's like, I can't believe you get that bottom of the barrel Advent wine. That's like the stuff they can't sell. I don't know, man. My threshold, I'm very easily entertained. Okay. I just like tiny things, and they come in little bottles, and they're very cute, and I've had fun with it the past 2 years. So let me know your thoughts. If that's of interest, we could totally keep it to stitching otherwise. And obviously every Advent we add on makes the video a little longer, but you know, I will do my best to keep it to a tight 5 because I think that's nice. And a million people are doing daily videos in December, so I know it gets overwhelming really fast. So thoughts and feelings down below, please, and thank you. And I think that's all I got. But we are entering November here, and just like I said, feeling thankful that we all made it through October okay. It was a little touch and go at the end there. And hope everyone had a nice Halloween. I've been enjoying seeing folks who shared costumes to Instagram and stuff. We had a low-key night last night. I finally made my partner start Over the Garden Wall. He never watched it, so we watched about half of it and then took a break. And then I've also been watching Midnight Mass, which I guess I thought Midnight Mass would maybe be on the level of like The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, but for me it's not really hitting. Like, I feel like they sort of reveal what is going on a little too early, and so it's like there's kind of this buildup, and then you find out like exactly what's going on, and then I feel like it just kind of dips, and now these last 2 episodes it's kind of picking back up again, but the pacing is just a little weird for me. Like, it was it's a short series, so I mean, I'm gonna finish it, it's fine, but I don't know if I would like fully blanket recommend that one. So that is all I know. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Been loving seeing everyone else's October stitching, and yeah, I'll be back probably in 2 weeks. 2 weeks-ish. I think the 2-week pace has been good, and I hope to see you there. Take care, everyone. Bye.